3.25% for all of those years, you know, people are going to have a sticker shock when it comes time for their portfolio to renew. So just consider that. The other thing I want to mention is, you know, the one thing, have a great relationship with your community banker, because if things go bad, if things get tough for you during this time, you know, you'll want that person to know your business model, to understand you, you know, to have worked with you before. Just make sure that your community banker is someone that you can talk to, gives you advice, you know, and can be that ear when things get tough. It's pretty important. A couple of the other things I just wanted to mention, you know, how are you guys going to handle your rents? You know, are you going to do it organically? Are you going to raise your rents organically? Just a little bit here and a little bit there. You know, as you guys get hit with interest rates that increases your mortgage payment, you're going to have to pass that along to someone. So think about how you're going to handle that in terms of, you know, do it at $50, you know, a month, you know, for 6 months, and then raise it again. I don't know how fearful investors are going to be about losing tenants. I'm not really sure where they can go. You know, apartments possibly, but everything is so expensive right now. So just keep that in mind. What else was I going to say? Does anybody have any questions? John was right, and all of those stats that he's, you know, right now the Feds are predicting, you know, we're at 5.9% fourth quarter of 2022, and the target is 2%. So they're going to continue to raise rates to reduce inflation. They want people to stop spending money. You know, I hear, you know, yes. No, that's fine. Oh, no, but I guess what I'm saying is as far as refining now at a rate that is potentially 7.5 before February 1st when they raise them again, as opposed to when they get to 8.5, 9% when your balloon comes due. Right. So your debt service will be off, and and it's not a cash flow. So I think lenders are going to be looking at, you know, the cash flow, your rents, your expenses, and it could potentially cause problems. You know, potentially, you know, if you were having cash flow, no issues, and then all of a sudden your mortgage goes up, then, you know, those rents aren't effective anymore. No, have a good banker and put a strategy together. You know, just like I said, how are you going to raise your rents? I'm sorry? Oh, no. That's what I mean. Have a great relationship. You know, have them help you. Absolutely. And if you know, when you're talking to your tenants, decide how you're going to raise rents, because you're going to have to in order to be able to cash flow and be financeable to your lender. If that makes sense. Does that answer your question? Mm-hmm. Do you have a question? I'm sorry. Anybody? Keith? Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you here. Just 1 minute, Dwayne. Yes, we do. On either a 3-year balloon or a 5-year balloon. Right now, our rates on a 3-year balloon is 6.75. Yeah, it's a fixed rate for 5 years or 3 years. It is a balloon. Yes. So, but some banks do have adjustable rates in their balloons, so it will adjust. Yes. Yeah. You know, there's some lenders out there. I think if you get into the federal loans that will do. I know I have on. No, we hold all of it. well, I know with the term, the amortization, you know what I'm saying? It has to, we're not in the mortgage business. Investor is a business. It's not a personal residence. So therefore, those are how those adjust. Every 5 years, every 3 years, they have to come up for renewal and reevaluate the portfolio. Dwayne, did you have a question? Okay.
Let me get a mic to you here, Dwayne, so everybody can, and on online too, if you'll hold your question until I get a mic to you.
When you were talking about going and refinancing now because you expect it to go up
Mhm.
and you're going to only do a 5-year balloon, does your bank charge for early payoff of the current loan? 'Cause I
Well,
know there are
if
banks that do.
it's not a payoff, it's not a prepayment penalty if you're refining. So no, if you're gonna refi back to, with us and go back to, say you do it right now, you have a 3-year, 5-year balloon, say rates go down and you wanna refi. No, that would not be an added cost for that.
Okay, what if I'm going to go get money elsewhere?
It depends. Some lenders do have prepayment penalties and, it's kind of common in the industry. So, depending upon what those are and what your banker has in their policy, that is something to be concerned with.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Turn around, Laura, now.
So right now on my properties, I have, conventional and FHA loans, but as an investor, what, would you recommend for my next type of mortgage?
Okay, are you talking as in your investments are FHA?
Right, yeah, because I lived in it and then.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, because you occupy more than 51% of it or something like that. So, I don't know, like I said, I don't know of very many lenders that will give a fixed rate for a long-term mortgage, amortized over 20 years, 30 years on investment property. You have to go outside of the sector for that. And that means go with a federal loan or find a lender who does those specifically. It's not conventional. So, but most of them, are just your normal 3 to 5 year balloon, amortized over 20 years.
Okay, anybody else? Oh, back to Dwayne. He's loaded with questions.
You and I discussed the FDIC insurance.
Yes.
So would you take a poll of everybody and ask if people know how that works? Because I actually brought those printouts that we talked about.
Okay.
It's fascinating.
Is everyone? Does everyone know about the FDIC and the insurance with banks? How much you're insured for your deposits? $250,000. And there's caveats to that because some people, like Dwayne and I were talking, and I sent him to the FDIC website because he wanted to see if he was insured because him and his wife was on a account, if it would be $500,000. You want to tell him what you found out?
Yes, that's true. But in the initial from all banks that I queried said 250,000 per account. Whether you're married, it doesn't matter. It's 250,000. Well, what I know about this business is they all lie to me. And it's 250,000 per person on that account. And then the FDIC lady said, oh, and if you need more coverage than $500,000 for you and your wife, she can have her own account with 250,000, and I can have my own account, get another 250,000, and we're all in one bank. So we can have $1 million. And I don't have that yet, but if you'd like to loan it to me, I know I can make it safe. But I know that. So anyway, I brought you the numbers because I ran.
That is awesome. Yeah, and that's a good question because a lot of people, they always see the $250,000 federal insurance on your deposits that, they don't get to the nitty gritty of it, do they?
No, I didn't find any bank that was smart enough to know that you could do all that other stuff and what it said. And it was real easy to find that. What's that website you gave us?
I gave you, Erica knows, Eddie, or Edie.
EDIE.
Yeah, EDIE.
at fdic.gen or something.
GOV,
Government, yes,
a GOV, yeah. So if you look that up, that'll give you some information, yes.
I didn't know you were gonna be here because I know you would ask that question and I do not know that answer. So, I mean, I can see you dancing around that you could get 3 or 4 LLCs and get each one. And if you put them all against the house that you're rehabbing, then you could add them up. If that's the same thing for that, but I did not ask that question. And she did say if you have people that are inheriting it, she'd have to send me somewhere else. So I didn't check all that out, David. So, and I will tell you that I love this stats stuff because the first time that I did a public meeting when I used to have my club, I got a recording from NAR where they said, this is what's going to happen the next year. And the next meeting I played it. And David over here had been over there and he said, he didn't get one thing right in the entire briefing. And so right there, I said, the statistics, you know, they are what they are and you can make them say what you want. So, you know, you can use your own gut.
Yeah, yeah, it's not, you know, unfortunately, it's a bell curve. It's peaks and valleys. It always, you know, everybody, I'm sure a lot of you remember back in the 80s when the rates were so high, 18, 19% prime, credit cards were 30%. It's what people got used to. They didn't really think it was any big deal. That's just the way things were. Well, we're used to low rates. We're used to 3.25. And I don't think, honestly, that the residential homes are going to have issues with that, because I think homeowners was smart enough not to get into an adjustable rate loan, but to get in a fixed rate and fix it for the term, the amortization. Investors, because of the way that we do things, the way that lenders do things, and the programs and products that we have, you know, that might be potentially, you might see a lot of people really struggling with their rentals and their investment properties, whether it be a strip center or something like that. You know, unfortunately, they're going to have to pass those down, and it affects us all. It's a domino effect. It really is, because it affects them. Who, if you're a retail center and you have to increase your rents to your tenants, then they have to increase their prices to their goods to the public. So it's just, like I said, everyone is affected by it. You just got to have a strategy, is what John was saying. Kind of think through it. And especially, and you know what? Think the worst. Think the worst. Feds are going to meet 7 more times this year. They're going to raise it every time. Just, you know, how am I going to handle that? How am I going to handle, you know, approaching my tenants and saying, you know, I got to raise your rent a couple $100 a month. Well, yeah.
Hold on. Let's let somebody else have a question.
So are your savings rates above 5% then?
No, not above 5% yet. No, we have some great CDs, but yes, that's a trend. As you know, when interest rates go up, so does your savings go up.
So what are they?
We have a CD special, I think at 465, I think, for 15 months.
Okay.
Or 435, 435, I think, for 15 months. And I can check on that. It seems like with all the changes, it seems like it's changing all the time anyway. But I can give you my card, you can call me and I can let you know what those are. 4.35, 15 months. I'm not, you know, I don't know the minimum. If they established just a promotion that we have going on actually, so it's not one of our cookie cutter, you know, type of CDs. But like I said, I'll give you my card and you can give me a call and I can get you all that information. And our checking account, it's not so boxy, I promise, but our checking account pays 3%, you know, on our personal checking account. So that's always good too. It's good to know. Yes.
Yeah, what do you guys do for appraisal or?
Hold on, Jim.
Well, typically, I mean, I work with an appraiser that I've worked with for many, many years, and he's very good to our customers. In terms of price, is that what you're asking? I think it's $250 for a residential home. And
is that a drive-by or is that a?
No, we get a full appraisal.
So what about foreclosures? What do you see? coming up?
Yeah, actually, quite honestly, delinquency is low right now. You know, I'm waiting for that shoe to drop, when is, like I said, prepare for the worst. I keep thinking, we're gonna have borrowers calling us and saying, goodness, I can't make the payment, work with me, do something. But we're not, I don't know if it's something that's coming as things, in this economy move forward, but we're really lucky right now. So I don't have any foreclosures, but we have a list. I mean, we could always put you on the list, so they say, and be notified if we do get foreclosure. But like I said, it just hasn't happened yet.
I got another question.
Sure.
What about loan to value? So if you own it free and clear, let's say you buy it for cash, you fix it up, you own it free and clear.
Mhm.
What kind of loan to value do you do on your appraisals?
80%.
You can tell I hate silence. I will tell you, I got to talk to this fine young lady and she was really easy to deal with on the phone. So it was very good. And the other thing is, I want to say that David Randolph over here is really smart in a lot of things. And I respect him, but he does IRAs. And when I worked out what he's doing, it's brilliant. But what happens, you can have too much money, but you can't then get into an IRA. So newbies might consider learning what Dave can teach you.
Dave, where's Dave? Okay, I heard about that, and I recently heard about IRA loans. I would like to pick your brain on that. I don't know how that could work. So. Yeah, but people said, you do this something, I don't think I've ever even heard of that. It was always the conventional type loans that we always did, but no, I'd really like to find out more
You
about it.
need to learn all the rules of the IRA, like, that's different. And once you get over that, because I'm an anti-IRA guy, I want my money and I want it now. And I don't want long-term stuff, and notes, as we talked.
Yes.
But I know what, and David told me when I saw him down in Branson, he said, tell me in January that I'm supposed to teach a class on the IRA. So this is your notes, David. Because he's doing some, it helps him grow a lot quicker that way.
That's awesome. Does anyone use hard money lenders?
We might have, we'll be having one of our sponsors over here, JM Real Estate Capital. They've got some private money. They'll have an opportunity here when we finish up. We're having one session.
Yeah. All right. Anybody have any other questions? Yeah, I'll sit in there with you and do that. I need to find out about that too. Sounds pretty interesting. So.
You mentioned making a list of foreclosures when they start happening.
Mhm.
Would you be willing to give that to someone who could flip the property rather than buy the property?
You know what, and it would be typically how we've done it in the past is when we foreclose, we will actually bid appraisal. And I haven't always agreed with that, but it's kind of how they've done it in the past. So if you bid appraisal, then that means when maybe it's not even worth, it's worth 80,000 versus, the note that's owed on it. When you bid that, you can't go back to the borrower for any shortfall when you sell it. So that does give an opportunity for the banks to, sell it at a cost that they're just, we're not in the business of property management, believe me. I used to have to do that. And, when I worked for another company, is manage our foreclosures and rent them and deal with tenants and do all of that. And believe me, it's not something we want to do. So, and we don't want to hold it. We don't want to maintain the yard. We don't want to do all of that. So we want to get rid of it quickly. So that's potentially should be, that could be very true.
I'd like to contribute to all the statistics since nobody did it on the foreclosure side. because that's kind of my business. One short statistic that everybody to be aware of about foreclosures is you don't even see it published. Neither one of you talked about it. You know, it wasn't up there on the screen. Take the year 2022 and all the loans that went out there. The statistic came out from Adam Data Services. 47% of those are underwater. That's a dangerous situation. Now, add on top of this, this is one you don't see, it's not even published. It was in a Zoom session it was on. 25% of all FHA loans in America are more than 2 months behind in the first year. Loans that were taken out in 2022. Now, I'm sure you guys do a great job of underwriting, don't you?
Yes.
How in the world could your buyer in the first year be 60 days late in the first year? But yet 25% of all FHA loans right now have missed 2 payments. That's an emerging statistic we need to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I can see that. You know, when people are paying $50,000 more than the asking price of a home, you know, appraisal writers, you know, getting rid of those, not asking for appraisal, not asking for inspections, they're underwater. Houses are decreasing in value. Well, I think it was everybody's want. They wanted that house. They had to have that house. They love that house. Yes, I'll pay $50,000 more than what you're asking for it. You know, and that was just the mindset, what they were doing. Well, the minute they bought that house, there's no equity in it because, you know, real estate agents can't find comps to support what you purchased that house for. So that's potentially a problem. And I could see with rates going up how, you know, that could very well be.
Can I give you my personal opinion on why this is gonna sound very bad. Not recording.
Oh gosh. Okay, so I'll try to tone it down a bit. Here's why I think. First, I'm going to blame it on young people because usually it's young people that get FHA loans. Generally, I think. Okay. And if a young person sees that their home price drop and they get pissed off, say, why the heck am I making payments on this house when it's now not worth what I paid for? And I'll just not pay my loan and sit here in the house and they can take it back for all they can.
And it's a long process, you're right. So getting it. And truthfully, it's funny that you say that because we'll have, you know, people call us younger people, maybe a first time home buyer or something like that, who says, you know, my house isn't worth what I paid for it. You got to lower my payment.
Really? So I'm right. I'm right then. They're calling you saying that.
You know, it's just, but I think it's more of a juvenile, more that they just don't know how it works. You know, if they just think that, you know, because their house isn't worth as much as it was, that their payment shouldn't be as high as it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's just, you just smile. Yeah.
I remember hearing a lot of that back in 2008, 9, 10, especially down in Florida. A lot of people just recently bought houses and their equity evaporated
Right.
in a very short time.
Hey, Carrie, could you, because I heard that there were a lot of newbies in here, would you go over that of about 8 or 9 things that they're gonna have to do if they want to borrow money from you for an investment?
You mean as far as financials and what we would need in terms of that?
And what they need to have in their quiver, like experience?
Okay, yes. You know, back in 2015, 16, 17, when the housing market was going crazy, everybody thought they could be an investor. You know, they'd be driving down the road and they'd see, you know, this house for sale. And if I can, you know, I can turn that into a rental. Well, as you guys know, it's not easy. You know, you have to have some knowledge in this. We do require at least a couple of years in business. We require you to have not necessarily even a large portfolio, just know what it is that you're doing, you know, and you can tell that. You can tell that by your cash flow. You know, is your rents, are you making money doing this? Because the house has to cash flow or there's no point. So, you know, if that makes sense, Dwayne, I mean, we just don't want everybody every Tom, Dick and Harry thinking they could be an investor because that happened. And a lot of people, you know, a lot of banks and a lot of people lost a lot of stuff because it was just, they didn't have the experience, but they wanted to do it. And then they're just like, I don't want to do this anymore. You know, I don't want to do this anymore. So caused a lot of problems. Yes, 2 to 3 years of tax returns, personal, corporate, a personal financial statement. You have a portfolio, rent roll, debt schedule. That's about it. Name of your firstborn. Did you have a question?
I did. So I was kind of just curious about, you mentioned the rent roll basically.
Mhm.
So a lot of younger people, since we're hating on younger people, they use, let's say Google Docs, Cash App, Venmo, whatever to collect their rent. So do you specify how you want to receive rent? Does it need to be in an official form? I mean,
No, no, when you do your rent roll, you know, it's really just you telling me basically what you owe on it, what you're getting on it, you know, what's your rents, how much do you owe, what's your monthly payment. Just gives you an idea so that when you back into it, you say, is this house profitable? So that's basically the debt schedule, just kind of tells us the different things that you may have as a debt that, you know, may not be, you know, on a rent roll or in a house or something like that. It might be you bought a skid loader or something. So that kind of stuff. But though that Cash App, I think a lot of people do Venmo and Cash App for rent. I guess you can track it that way. You can. Yeah. Those are pretty popular. Yeah. Yeah. I know. I know that lenders, because I know that we have a way, and I don't know really how it works. I probably should, but we can pay with Zelle. If you have an account with New Frontier, they have Zelle, and I don't really know that much about Zelle.
yeah, it's just like Cash App.
Is it? Okay.
They go from account to account. So
Okay.
I have that.
Okay. Yes. Zelle, yeah. You like that one? Yeah, but I didn't know financial institutions use that, or they have that option to be able to use that. They don't have Cash App, they don't have Venmo, but for some reason they have Zelle. So I just wondered what the difference is. I probably should know that. Gotcha. I know a lot of investors always would be like, can you just stick, if I give you their account number, can you just take their money and pay their rent? You know, like we can't put our hand in somebody else's account or somebody else's institution. They would have to set that up with us. So. Okay.
Oh, okay, thanks. Hello.
Hi.
I'm a newbie that everyone's talking about. Thank you. An inspiring investor in real estate. But you said we need 2 to 3 years of demonstrable experience in some way.
We just need to make sure that it's not a fly by night job for you. You know, if it's, do you have other income source? That would be a reason. You know, that would be something that we could do. Because what we do is we look at it on a global stage. So if you know you have your homes, your portfolio, it has this, you as a person has this. So we take that and combine that for a global debt service, which has to meet our requirements. And so, you know, with your job,
Yeah.
you know, then you could do that. You just can't, this can't be your full-time job and you have no experience.
Right, okay. Thank you.
You'll look at what? Oh, yes, I did, Dwayne. And yes, we look at each loan. We don't put them all together and, do it that way. We like our separate deeds of trust, separate assignments of rents, different things like that. So we're not grouping 3 or 4 homes on one loan. I guess unless you wanted to, but we still probably have, 3 or 4 different deeds of trust. We would have to keep that separate. I think most of the investors prefer that they're individual loans just so they can track all of that. And if they want to sell one, then you don't have to unwind stuff. You don't have to undo stuff. So. Do you have a question? Yeah.
Yeah, I had a question
Sure.
about, well, we have a couple of tenants that pay by Zelle, that's great, it's instant, I like that.
Good.
But we're wanting to get away from checks and mail altogether, we're wanting to go all digital. But we have a couple of tenants that, don't have any kind of account, they're elderly, they pay us either cash or money order. So I'm wondering how we're gonna get around. Heard that there was something called Easy. I don't know if you're.
I mean, we have mobile deposit. If that's something that you're talking about.
How would they mobile deposit cash?
Oh, yeah. So it's just, I mean, okay. So it's not like they're getting their social security check and they just need to deposit in their account.
Yeah, they cash their mobile.
Oh, so they cash it. They don't have a bank account.
And we need a way for them to be able to bring cash into any of your branches to pay their rent directly into our account.
If you had your depository account with us, anyone can deposit to your account. So they could do that.
So how does, they just give us their name or the business name?
They would, they would walk in and they would just have their cash. They would say, I'd like to put it this and make a deposit, fill out the deposit slip, put this in your account, whatever the name of your business is.
Okay, deposit. So they would need our account number?
We could look that up. Typically is what we would do. If you don't want to give them your account number, that's fine.
That's
Some
what
people
we're
do
trying to
have
do.
issues with that. Although for some reason, it's always on the back of the checks too. So, but if you're not comfortable with that, then don't do that because we could look them up in our system or look you up to find out what your account is.
Uh-oh, guess what? Yes, she's gonna want this chick. She's gonna eat those nibbles from over here. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. You know it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, because it's on the bottom of your checks. I know people sometimes are a little, don't like to share that information, but if you're writing a check, they already have that information. So, but. Savings accounts? It's called a SIF. We have a SIF. And it's like a customer information file. And then you would have different accounts under that. Like you could. Well, are they all separate entities? Because if you have a business, like say for your example, you're an LLC and you want to come in and open an account, but say your name of your LLC is 123 Main Street because that's your property. Then you come in, you have your LLC paperwork, registered with the state with your operating agreement, and then you can have an account under 123 Main Street. We do see a lot of people who do separate their rentals like that. They'll either give them their street name or, their business, the street name. Yeah, and I guess. I don't know if it would be. Okay, but you only have one company. You're not, you. Right.
So
You know,
can I ask a question? Sorry. What is the purpose of that? Because in my head, I'm thinking that's a spreadsheet. You can go and see, like, why are you separating it? What is the benefit of that?
maybe if you have numerous tenants, then, you know, and maybe they pay the same amount, I don't know, and you have to differentiate between who paid and who didn't pay.
Write that in a note.
Well, for me, they're making their own deposits into the security bank, you know, that's what they're not. And they're not, I'm not receiving, money orders in our mailbox. They're going to banks, like, that particular, yeah. Because it's going to, that's the big difference, that some have, that things start to really. Yeah, yeah, like, okay, that's what. You know, they're all titled, to answer the problem.
Now, do you pay your expenses out of that same account? So then, like, but you can save. But you don't, they're not, you can't like write a check on those accounts. Like, what happens if your furnace goes out? But then if you have to pay for a furnace, then do you just note that it was for 123 Main Street? Or? Yeah, no, I get it. I just didn't know if you were trying to keep it separate like that so that you have all your, okay. Mhm.
You say that for purposes of tax. Now, you can put it all together for taxes, but it doesn't matter. But if somebody's coming after you, you have an LLC. Okay, so we're talking to the basic. Yes, I do what you're saying, but that's not why I brought that up, you know. I was kind of, yeah, and that's not what I think. I think, yeah, Tony. Oh, I know, you know, Right.
I was just gonna say, I'm not a fan of Bank of America, but we have an account there. And they let us have a debit card for each of our tenants. That's a deposit only card. So it has their name on it. It has their PIN on it. It's all their information. And when when they go to like an ATM with cash, they deposit the ATM cash money and it goes right into our account. And so it's all separate. They can't see, how much money's in the account. They can't see anything else. It's all they can do is deposit money in, and then it tracks them separately for each account number too. Their minimum is 5,000 that you have to keep in it in order to have the different, funds and stuff, which is quite a bit more than most of the local banks. So I like the local banks for other reasons.
Yeah.
And then you write that number because it's the same number overall. Yep.
Not with Bank of America. No, I'm gonna have to look into that. It's another thing I'm gonna have to look into. Right, and their fees too, you have to consider that. You know, if they're charging for debit transactions or whatever. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I don't think they, oh, no.
You have to be pretty special to have a Bank of America account. I mean, you know that. But see, there you go. Then you just go hang out in the Caribbean. Yeah, a lot of lenders like to see that too, property management companies, but I personally understand why, you know, you do or you don't have one. Anybody
Thank you.
else? Yes, did you have a question? Oh, no,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
So the questions, for Carrie, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think we'll move on to our one section. Gonna run our applause. Thank you. Sure you'll stick around and hand out some of your cards to anybody that wants them, right? Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'll give you a shout out to New Frontier. I've been doing business with them since 2009, I think it was. Yeah, they're good at doing lines of credit. You got some free and clear. I had a couple of free and clear properties. Like I said, I joined this group back in 1980. So you hold on to properties long enough to get those loans paid off. So they were able to put a couple of my free and clear properties together, give me a line of credit that I could go out and take advantage of all the foreclosures and, you know, put cash offers in 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, and picked up, increased my portfolio. So that really helped me out. And then once I got them fixed up, came back, did a appraisal, and they loaned me 80% of appraisal, which gave my line, allowed me to pay my line of credit back and went did it again. So very, very good with them. And, okay. This is our time for our habits and wants. If you have anything real estate related, either you have a property to sell, you're looking for a property, probably got some wholesalers here, I think we noticed that, and maybe somebody's got a wholesale deal that are looking, will find something for you in the area you're looking for. And, or if you have a service that you need, that real estate investors would have be in need of, you're telling an opportunity to talk about it. And generally, we let JM or Real Estate Capital talk a little bit about what their services are. They're one of our sponsors on our website. You can get information for them. Here we got Rob. Rob is here tonight from them. You want to say something, or just point out that you're here? You want to talk? Get some another line. You got Gary here on a local banker. And we got some private money by JM Capital. Make sure you stop by and talk to him. You want to say a few, or just have.
How's it going, guys? Oh, wake up. Happy New Year. Oh, can you hear me now? All right, Jim Real Estate Capital. If you want a 30-year fixed, you have an investment property, come see me, okay? No problem, no job, no tax returns, no experience, I don't care. If you send me your tax return, I'm gonna charge you more. Okay? We do rehabs, we do new construction, we do rental loans, $0 to $5 million. So if you're in that range, give us a call. Here to help. My personal opinion, and we can discuss and debate it. No offense to conventional loans, I do those as well. I hate them, but I do them. Right now, you have an opportunity like you wouldn't believe. Okay, if you have cash or you have property with equity, I can help you cash out and you can buy stuff. Okay, buyers are in control right now. Sellers are not. They still think they are, but they're not. Okay, you can negotiate hard. Prices are going to continue to fall. I think rates have stabilized a little bit, but you never know. So I have a 30-year fix. There's no balloons, no, not like that. Okay. I can do non-recourse, I can do recourse. Okay. Appraisals on rehabs, no appraisals on rehabs. Okay. High leverage, low rates. Give me a call if you need my help. Look, if you have a full day, if you can show income, call her. Okay. She's cheaper than me. Not by much, cheaper than me. My low rate on 36.75 on investment property, 30-year fixed. But I'm sure she could beat me if you can show income. But my number is 844 we close. It's 844 we close. My cell phone always on me. Area code 917-362-0057. Would anybody like a card? Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Rob. Okay, I got us started here. So did anybody else? Oh, I did want to also mention that we do have, if anybody likes Girl Scout cookies, we have a young lady in the audience by the name of Sophia. Is she over here? Oh, okay. Sophia, would you like to tell us what you have to offer for folks? Come on up. 35 years ago, I used to bring my son here and the baby here.
My name's Sophia, and I sell Girl Scout cookies for Girl Scout. And if you don't want Girl Scout cookies, you can just give us money or stuff. Yeah.
So I think what she's trying to say is if you don't want to buy cookies, we accept the money as well, but it goes to the unit, I believe, or you can donate your cookies if you don't actually want physically the cookies. So she can walk around if you want to raise your hands. I'm here every month. The cookies I want to say are maybe 2 months away, maybe 2 months. I will double check, but if you order them, come back or we can deliver them to you. We live in South City, but we can deliver and donate to the organization if you want. It's up to you. So that's it. Oh, so I will take over. Are there haves and wants? Anybody?
Hi, Pi Financial Group. I'm a private money lender, so I'm not welcome here. But people always ask me, am I a hard money lender? Well, it can get you hard money. If you don't have any experience, we might charge 12%, but we go down as low as 5%. And I wouldn't consider that hard money. In fact, I think if I went to get a loan someplace else, I'd probably be charged more than that. We deal with fix and flips, 30-year fixed, no arm, no balloon payments that we're discussing. We do refi and rehab. Refi, rehab, the combination. And closings anywhere from, we say it can be a week. You have to get all your information in that day to make it a week. So we'll say 2 weeks, anything from 2 weeks to 30 days for closing, especially for holding a 30-day closing. That's good. Anyway, a lot of people are looking for other alternatives. And so that's one reason why I'm here.
So I'm gonna tie it back into what we talked about. What is your goal? There's a lot of money in this room, but what is your goal? There's somebody in here who can probably help you finance it. So take a card afterwards.
Hello, Lisa Raines. I'm looking for multifamilies in South City. If anybody has any that you're selling or you run across any, let me know.
Want to give your phone number or
Sure.
some contact information, how you like to contact, because we are on Zoom too. We have some people that may not be in the room, be able to contact you tonight.
Okay. You can reach me at 314-254-3404. Anybody else want it from me?
Okay, that's a couple of them back there.
Hi, I'm Matt. I'm with Baldwin Tree Service. We do tree removal, tree trimming, and stump grinding. If you want to give me a call, my phone number is 314-799-1461. Again, we do tree removal, tree trimming, and stump grinding. Thank you. Baldwin Tree Service.
Do you work all over the St. Louis metropolitan area?
Yes, I will.
Great, okay. We'll pass the mic over to the lady standing up next to you there. Thank you.
Hi, Rhonda. This is my first time here. I currently have I have 4 properties right now, single families. I have not purchased probably about 10 years, so the environment is very different. So just wanted to ask a question, and maybe if 1 or 2 experienced investors wouldn't mind answering. John talked a bit about know your strategy. I'd like to talk about some of the strategies or hear some examples of strategies that people are using at this time if they're open to sharing that. Well, you can pick a couple. If you want to do the buy and hold, which is what I prefer, that's what I currently do. My homes are the ones that I have, I buy and hold. Locations are Dalewood, U City, and Woods, one in St. Charles as well. But buy and hold, and then I'm open to hearing some of the other ones, but just things to help for new folks who have come here or who are just now entering in to kind of spark some thoughts there.
Okay, anybody has some strategies for a buy and hold? Suggestion for buy and hold investor right now? But mine, I'm really not buying anything right now. I'm intensely into my kitchen renovation. If you've all been on the Friday calls, you probably heard about it. This morning. I had a truckload of kitchen cabinets delivered into my garage, so it's really going to happen now. It's starting to sink into my wife. Hopefully, we survive this.
Okay. I don't have a plan. All I wanted to do was keep making more money, and I learned about money works and how to get it paid off so that you can just keep rolling it up. And then one day you go, oh, I've had enough, I'm retiring. But you get a few smart friends around. Each time you get that feeling, you call them and say, what do you do when you get this feeling? They say, I do the numbers on paper. And then I find out there's nothing that makes that kind of money for me. So they just stay in the business. And I had that all happen to me in the business. And then one day, yep, we sold them all out. So trying to figure out how to retire is really tough. But if you know your numbers and you know what you're doing in that respect, you just do it over and over and over. Keep finding more property. And you'd be surprised, there's a lot out there at good prices. Does that answer all the questions you want to know? Okay, and then go the experience and talk to them and say, okay, but I'll buy mine and you buy yours and we'll have coffee together. And, you know, in that environment, people are more likely to say, okay, here's who I use for insurance. Here's who I use for this. And that's what you really want to know. You're welcome. I'll send you a bill.
Okay. There's people on the Zoom, so I'll repeat what you said. Another strategy, sorry, go ahead, is self-directed IRAs. So Jim mentioned that before, so that's a strategy. Short-term rental, mid-term rental. What's the other one? Oh, house hacking. Have you done that? So you mentioned your last property. I think you said you purchased maybe 10 years ago. So you qualified for another FHA loan. Maybe you could buy a duplex, live on one side and hack the other one, pay your mortgage that way. That's another strategy.
Since everybody keeps mentioning my name, I ought to say something, right? Otherwise, you know, for me, what I did was 12 years ago, I started out and learned how to rehab houses. So I went to the exit strategy. If I knew how to rehab a house, I could do anything in between. I could keep it for a rental. I could wholesale it because I would know the numbers to calculate what the rehab cost is. So that was my exit strategy. Then I needed a method, how am I going to buy my houses? So that was the other end that I had to pick up. And so for me, at the time in 2009, foreclosures were everywhere. Families were falling apart. It was a financial crisis. So my wife and I chose that particular method. But you find some way to find sellers. And for me, it was, you know, foreclosures, people that were in trouble. And so I could step in, stop the bank from foreclosing, keep them in the house, and then buy it at a really, 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 really low price. If you know me, you know, those that know me, I'm not talking like $30,000 for a $270,000 house, but pick some method to buy, like tax deeds, you know, free and clear houses, you know, some probate, you know, pick a method and learn that method really well. And then you can decide what to do with the home. If you want rental portfolios, okay, then that's good. You can, you know, a lot of the good rentals you had to fix up, right? Okay, so if you know the rehabbing side, then you can keep that as a rental. If it's not what you want, then you can wholesale it to somebody else. So I think you should be well-rounded in what you do with it. That's my advice with it. And I guess the other part was money, okay? How many people have talked about money tonight? That's crucial. The third thing I did, okay, was learn how to get money. Okay, and so that's a huge thing. There are people, every one of these money people have different things. I'm a hard money lender. I'll go ahead and give you my speech right now for how I do hard money. I don't compete with them or the others. We all provide something at where you're at. You know, if you don't have good credit score, you're going to have to come to me. So my speech is, I will lend you all the money to buy the house, all the money to fix it up, all the money for the points on the loan, all the money for the monthly interest payments. You need $0 in your checking account financially to start rehabbing. I help you through the critical path. I give you all my contractors, my material suppliers, and my SKU numbers. Okay, so I help the disenfranchised, the ones that don't have 25% down for you. I get them ready for you, okay, basically, and stuff like that. So get somebody who can get you money, okay? Was my strategy, and I now have over $3 million in cash in my retirement accounts, IRAs and stuff like that, 12 years ago. And I've been coming here for 12 years. This is how I learned Robin Thompson, you know, other people like that. So keep coming to the RIA group. That's a must, and build relationships with this guy on rentals, okay? You know, Dwayne knows it all, okay? I don't know if you still do your course or not, but you lazy dog. But anyway, I learned from him on the rental side. So get with people that have expertise in various areas and build relationships. That's what I did.
Yeah, I mentioned Robin Thompson. She's the queen of rehab. It's been a few years since we've had her. We probably ought to get her back. No, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Laura Lucas. This is the first time I've been at this meeting.
Welcome.
Thank you. I've lived in this area, April will be 2 years. Came from Oklahoma City, and I was part of the RIA group in Oklahoma City for a long time. In my past married life, we bought, fixed, and sold a lot of property, made a lot of money, did really good. I can't say I liked living in that fix-it environment, especially when it was my own home. Unfortunately, after the fact, I didn't know enough about the contracting and the legal side to continue that on my own. I must have invested about $30,000 in trying to learn real estate, do it, but I did not do well with it. So I have moved into life and health insurance, annuities. So and I know that when you're out flipping and working on homes, you don't have health insurance. You're self-employed. So that's why I'm here. I want to find out who of you needs to have your own health insurance, life insurance policy, or if you have a 401k. I'm hearing a lot of banks are going to be closing shortly. And so getting it moved into an annuity is a good idea. So that's what I'm here for.
Okay. Anybody wants to talk about insurance or annuities? I can catch up with you. Want to give any contact information? Be contacted?
Yes, I have cards I can pass out, but for those on Zoom, my name is Laura Lucas, and my number is area code 405-205-2506. I've kept my Oklahoma number because I do have a lot of Medicare clients, and that's how they reach me. So that's what I did for the first 6 years of my insurance was Medicare. And that was my focus, but I also do life and annuities.
Okay, thank you, Laura. Who else has got something for us?
We like 63114. So if someone has a property in 63114 that you're not really wanting anymore, that's one that we tend to like. We have one in 63121 that will trade you if you're up for that. And we also have a 7-foot bookshelf in the back of our truck right now. We'll take your best offer. We were ghosted on Facebook Marketplace on the way here, so it's still in there if you're interested. Best offer.
Okay.
314-210-4310. Not for the bookshelf. You actually have to get it tonight.
Otherwise, it's going to get dropped off somewhere else. You actually deliver for Marketplace, huh?
No.
Oh, okay. But no, I've been trying Facebook Marketplace here. People have been talking about it on our Friday call. So since we're cleaning out our kitchen right now we've been putting some things there. We've had some pretty good luck on a few things, but a lot of it's kind of gone cold now. So we started out. But I said, you have to come here. I told them, where they could pick it up, and they needed cash. So. Okay, anybody else? If not, what time? Everybody, 8:30. Okay, we got a little time. We got the room till past 9 o'clock. Go ahead and do some more networking. If you didn't get any snacks, or you know, grab us some refreshments. Help yourself. Thank you all for coming tonight, and hope to see you back here on the third Tuesday of February, or hear you on our 11 o'clock Friday calls. Thanks all for coming.